Let's now talk about networking. What is networking?
Networking is it's the behavior of exponentially increasing the number of contacts or acquaintances that you have. And by exponentially increasing that, you also increase the ability to hear about posted and as well as unposted positions.
Okay. Well, why should you network? What's the...
Well, I look at it as an opportunity to utilize the power of other people to help you gain more information about how you want to move forward in your career. I kind of look at it as a tree. You might know one or two people, and those are like the big branches of the tree, and then the people that they know are smaller branches off of those big branches, and eventually two branches that are large on the tree that don't touch can actually end up connecting with another branch on the other side of the tree because of those smaller contacts. It's like the 6 degrees of separation kind of situation.
Okay, so the more branches you have, the more career resilience you will have.
Exactly. And always be aware too that you might meet somebody, for instance, and not think anything about it, and then 6 months down the road, all of a sudden, that's the person who's a vital person for you to get in contact with because you've learned of an opportunity.
How do you do networking?
Well, there's lots of different ways to do it, but basically the tips that I give to people are to first identify all the people that are in your sphere that you know. This is family, friends, acquaintances, all the way down to individuals that you talk with at the post office, you know, once a week, but you don't maybe even know their names. And then start with the people that you know first.
Okay.
So if you're starting with the people that you know first, go to them and say, this is my career goal, this is what I'd like to pursue, or I have questions in these areas. And see if they know anybody who's in those particular areas. And then you grow from there. So they might not know somebody, but they might know somebody who knows somebody.
Right. And so on. And so on.
And so on and so on.
Right.
And then you can use them as lever points to be able to say, well, could you introduce me to this person?
Okay. So they can be the access points.
Exactly.
Or brokers to get you to another level of person or group. Or
exactly. And one of the things that I hear from people is the extroverts don't tend to have a problem networking. It's the introverts that go, hold on, I don't want to do that. And I understand that because I'm an introvert myself, but networking is a very important thing to do in your career, and it's actually one of the most powerful things. That saying that, you know, who you know is more important than what you know, there's a little bit of truth to that.
Okay.
So for extroverts, to define what extrovert is, it's somebody who does really well in social settings. They like to have lots of different relationships, lots of different interactions with people. They excel at that. That's their strength. Introverts, on the other hand, are individuals who do lots of internal thought processing of things. They also like to have lots of deeper one-on-one kind of situations with people. So it's not that they're anti-people, they just like the deeper one-on-one connection. They're less likely to gravitate towards going to a social kind of event.
Right.
So with networking, both can do networking. They both can build on their strengths. Extrovert strength is they're great at meeting people and making connections very quickly.
Probably good at being a salesperson.
Absolutely.
Cold calls, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. So maybe they should go to those social gatherings, those networking functions, go to parties with friends and talk with people. Introverts are really good at, as I said, the one-on-one. So perhaps they're going to need a little bit more introduction, warm contacts instead of cold contacts. You know, an extrovert might be just fine going in and saying, I know Sam, and I'd like to talk to you. Introvert might say, could you call that person and warn them that I'm calling?
Right.
So both can do it. They just need to do it in their own style and make it comfortable for them.
And actually, I'm an introvert as well. And one of the things that I hear about in the career field is the technique of informational interviewing.
Yes.
And this is where I feel comfortable networking because I have a purpose.
Exactly.
I'm meeting one person one-on-one, and I'm there for a purpose. I want to learn about their job. Can you speak more about informational interviews?
Sure. With the process of informational interviewing, you're wanting to gain more information, as it says, so that you can make better career goal and career choices. It's not meant to circumvent the employment process, even though it has the word interviewing in it. But it's truly meant for you to gain more information so you can make better career decisions. So you can use networking contacts for informational interviewing. And so basically, if you identify somebody that you'd like to talk to, you can call them up either as a warm contact or a cold contact, depending on your comfort level, and say, can I have about 20 minutes of your time? Most people who are happy in their jobs are willing to do that. And so what you do is you go in, you'd have a excuse me, relatively clear goal of what you want to pursue, what kind of information you want to pursue. And then you would have some set questions that you already had identified prior. Because of course you don't want to waste that person's time. So, so as you go in and you talk with them, one of the key questions that I encourage people to always have on their palette at the end of the conversation is there anybody else that you think I should talk to?
Oh, that's a good one. So there's the branches of the tree.
Exactly.
You're extending your network.
Exactly. And very often people will try to help you find somebody. And so it grows from there. And introverts often will say, well, I don't want to use anybody. That's often a very big concern. And just, I warn them that, you know what, you will have the opportunity to be the person being interviewed at some point in your career.
That's right. Actually, I've done both. I've done informational interviewing, and I've been the recipient of an interview where someone who was interested in the field of education or training and development, they called me. And it was actually very flattering to be in a position to offer some career advice to someone or explain to them what my life is like, what my role is like.